Can you streamline your entire outbound motion with one tool? Maybe. I had been hearing about Amplemarket for quite a few years now, and today I'm going to show you a demo so you can decide if it's worth it or not. Hi, I'm Paris. I've been in B2B SaaS sales for about 11 years, and 3 years ago I started my own agency called Groove Consulting, where we help small businesses scale their sales team and build smart systems and strategies to grow their revenue without chaos. Today, I'm going to show you Amplemarket. I had been hearing about this tool for a while in different RevOps communities that I'm in. Basically, what it does is it's an AI-powered outbound tool. They're actually based out of Portugal, which I thought was interesting, and they're backed by several VC firms. With that being said, though, the tool allows you to streamline LinkedIn, cold calling, texting, email, WhatsApp, and more. So I'll show you that today, and then you can decide for yourself if you think it's worth it for your sales team. If you do decide to do a free trial of Amplemarket, use my link and you can get different discounts, and I'm happy to help you navigate a call with their team. So let's go ahead and get into it. So previously my team was using Dripify for LinkedIn automation and HubSpot for our CRM, and Instantly for cold email, and then we use Loom for videos and things like that. So we decided, and then also Apollo for lead generation and finding leads. But I kind of noticed that every company was using Apollo, so a lot of the contact data is kind of just being dispersed among hundreds of thousands of companies, and those same people are getting all the emails and everything. So I decided to check out Amplemarket based on feedback from other RevOps leaders, and I'll go ahead and show you how it works, and you can decide for yourself if it makes sense or not. Hands down, one of the best features of Amplemarket is Duo Copilot. Essentially what it does is it allows you to set up different signals where you can track how potential prospects could be interested in your product or service that you offer. So right off the bat, I think the coolest feature about Amplemarket is Duo Copilot. Essentially, what it allows you to do is create signals based on all different types of criteria. So for example, it could be posts with certain content that you might be interested in. They could review one of your competitors on G2. They could have a recent job change. And it'll even look into Slack communities and Slack messages. I, for one, am in maybe 10 to 15 different Slack communities, which have my prospects in them. So this was super interesting to me. And then also you have funding, job openings, news and events. Funding, I don't use a ton just because a lot of people are using the Signal, and I think the prospects are a bit jaded. But I still think the signals has a lot more signals than other tools that I've used before. I'm currently using these signals, so profile visits, posts mentioning certain keywords, posts from if they engage with posts from my competitors and things like that. And essentially what happens once a signal is triggered, then you can actually automate in a whole AI sequence based on their engagement. I will say though, you do need to build out the model so that you don't come across as creepy, because sometimes it'll say stuff like, I saw you liked Sarah's post about her new promotion. Like that kind of stuff is, I don't know if I would actually say that to someone. So you definitely need to kind of review it, but it does give you some really interesting insights. And once you customize this, it is supposed to train the models so that the future models sound like your language and voice. So that's the Duo Copilot feature. This feature alone is honestly why I bought the platform, but let me show you more. So the searcher, the prospecting feature, I think is super interesting. It has some different data points that I haven't seen in Apollo or ZoomInfo, for example. So this is where you'll search for potential leads and companies. You'll see the basic stuff in there, but you can also create a persona based on your data of what type of buyer you're looking for. And you can do different things like their job changes, whether it was within the same company or a new company. You can filter for what technologies they use, obviously. I have noticed they have more technologies than what I've seen with Apollo. For example, so that is really nice. And then you can also see, for example, how many followers they have or how many followers their company has, rank. And there's actually, I feel like all these lead generation systems, they always are like, yeah, you can look up web traffic data. And then when you start doing it, there's nothing there. But I've actually used this and it does seem to work, which is nice. And then they also, I thought this was really interesting. They pull leads from different conferences. Now, some of these conferences were last year, so it's not super relevant, or before last year even. But as you can see, there's quite a few different conferences from 2025. So it really just depends what industry you're in and what type of buyer you're looking for. But I thought this was great because I don't want to buy conference lists. So the fact they have these is really cool that we can benefit from that. Once you decide who you want to contact, you can build out a sequence. And as you can see here, I have quite a few different sequences, but I made a sequence where it essentially will connect with someone, and then if they accept my connection, it will send them a message on LinkedIn, like their post, and then send them an email. You can do all kinds of steps with your sequences. So you can use AI to generate the sequence for you, or you can create your own. And you'll see there's tons of different actions here. With WhatsApp and iMessage, when I use this, it would actually copy over the prospect's phone number and the message to the prospect into iMessage, and then all I had to do was hit send. So if you're an account executive or an SDR and you don't, or even a founder and you want to be doing iMessage, I did have a really high response rate, like 50%. But I think it could be really effective and really help with your open rates. You might not of them though. So keep that in mind in deciding if that's the motion you want to do or not. So all in all, I think the sequences are really cool, especially since you can incorporate WhatsApp and iMessage. I think all in all, it's a huge time saver because you're not having to do a bunch of manual work on LinkedIn. And so it makes it a lot easier for reps to manage their entire workflow for outbound without having to switch between different tools. As far as the analytics and results go, one thing I want to note is for cold email, there's a limit to how many accounts you can connect. And so I could only connect 2 accounts, which if you're trying to do a heavy cold email motion will not be enough. However, they do have packages where you can purchase more email accounts. So you definitely want to budget for that. Looking at my campaign for the last 3 months. So I started January 19th with a free trial. I've had 1 meeting booked. I've reached out to 300 people. And then my open rate is actually really high. So let me show you that. So my open rate's 69%. I swear I didn't plan that. And then you can see I have a 0.5% reply rate, 0.3% spam. And then the bounces are relatively low compared to what I've seen with other systems. So all in all, I do think it's worth it as long as you have a rep who's planning to really be in the system every day and use it, because it's not necessarily cheap. It comes in at around $500 per user. It might be cheaper to add on additional users, but that is where the pricing starts. Definitely use my link and, I'm happy to help you negotiate with them on discounts. But if you are running outbound seriously and you want to centralize everything and save a lot of time to focus on super personalized outreach, I think it's a great tool and I highly recommend it. So I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any questions, add in the comments. Thank you. Bye.